welcome to Infinite Wellness, where you'll find everything health, wellness, and consciousness. I am Noelle Agape, and I am your host, and we are here to bring you enlightenment on health, wellness, and consciousness. And today, I am with one of my favorite people on this entire planet, Monica Adams, and she really is my soul sister. She is probably the greatest gift on this planet, I believe. She is so amazing and beautiful and pure light. And she is a meditation teacher. She's a life coach. She is an NLP master practitioner and pretty much just a rock star in general. And literally one of my favorite people on this entire planet. So welcome, Monica. How are you, honey?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And right back at you. I am so blessed to know you. And I'm so happy that we're friends and we get to work and play alongside each other. So I'm excited to be here. I'm so happy about this show and to really dive deep into everything that we know and get your guests involved and just deliver some amazing messages.
Oh, I love that. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do, because you do so much. I mean, with the Radiance Festival and with NLP and your clients, tell us what you do.
Sure. I mean, so for me, my whole thing has always been aligning your head with your heart. So for me, I've always been a very spiritual person. I've been teaching meditation and doing the coaching business for about 3 years and really bringing people together. And what I've noticed is there's so much talk about our mindset and growing our mindset and the personal development. And that's all so amazing and so great. But I think now everyone is really realizing, okay, how do we tap into that heart set and really realizing that and believing and developing that just as strongly as we develop our mindset. So that's really what I'm here for, is just deliver those messages. And I love just bringing people together, which is why I created the Radiance Festival. And that's really just a conscious music festival where I bring a bunch of different people from all avenues of wellness so people can kind of taste test what could work for them, because there's so many modalities out there. There's Reiki, there's massage, there's essential oils. And I think one size doesn't fit all for everybody. So the festival allows it, I kind of say it's a bridge between divine play and entertainment and wellness. So bring people together in a really fun, lighthearted way. So that's what I do. That's what I'm here for. Really just allowing people to tap into their heart set and just aligning these two amazing, intelligent organs that we've been gifted.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And you really are pure love. Like, you live from that space. You live from play, you live from joy, you live from happiness. So how do you get there for people? Let's start there, because that's such a big thing, your heart center. And how do you get there from a place where people aren't there a lot of the time? And then I want to talk about meditation, because I know that you're a rock star with that. And so getting into your heart center, I love that. And that's a beautiful way to start the show. How do we get into our heart center? I mean, I know obviously you and I both meditate, we teach meditation, but for our viewers that are just really, the biggest thing I get is, Noelle, how do I get out of my head and into my heart? Yeah. And so talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's dead on, especially like I'm here in the East Coast. I live in New Jersey. I'm frequently in New York City. And I think in this area, it's all over, but I think in this area, it's so obvious, right? Like, it's so obvious that people have their head down and they're just thinking about the to-do lists and what I got to get done. And we're really stuck in this place right now where we're always kind of regretting the past, or like, oh, I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I did something differently, or really worrying about our future. And I think getting into your heart set is really this being in the present moment and seeing, everything around you as a gift and being grateful. And I know that's soft, but it really works. And I think something that I'd love for everyone to really realize and to hold on to is the fact that we've always been taught and we've always been trained that your brain is an intelligent organ. And of course, we know that, right? We have these thoughts and we can store memories, and we have, we're always encoding and decoding information always. And we're using our logical mind, but it's been proven, it's been scientifically proven that our heart is an intelligent organ, and our heart also stores memories and is encoding and decoding. And, our mind has these thoughts and we can't hold them in our hand, but our heart's thoughts is energy, and just feeling people's energy. And really, I think, just I want to give people the permission to really trust your intuition, really trust the energy. If something doesn't feel right, if it's, black and white on paper, it sounds great. But for some reason you have this feeling that it's just not right. Like, trust that enough, because we really do have this amazing organ within us that is really giving us information that we need. And I think to tap into it, start with gratitude, pause, and be in the present moment yeah, and because I think that's where it is. It's the trap of I got to get to my future and worrying about my past. If you could drop in, be grateful for the now, you'll get into that heart center.
Oh my gosh, you just said so many good nuggets in that short amount of time. Literally. The one thing that I want to say is that your heart center is energy, right? And I teach energy, you know that. And so it is 1,000 times more powerful than your brain. So when people are trying to manifest from their brain, it's like, it's a will. You're trying to will it to happen. When you're manifesting from your heart, that's your soul, and it's coming through from you. And so we are all energy, and we're going to go deep into that energy, you and I, later on with that. But let's talk about meditation, because that really is, for me, a lot of my clients really don't understand the science of meditation and what it does with your brain and what it actually does for your body. So let's start there, and let's start maybe some key tips on how to do that, because I think that that's such a huge, that's your gift, is you teach meditation, and you're so amazing with it, and everything that you do, but just quieting the brain. So how do you think about that?
Yeah, so I think to kind of give people the rational science behind it. So, right, we talk about consciousness, and to just do a quick one-word definition, like, consciousness is just your awareness, right? When you're conscious, you know what's happening around you know what's happening within you. When you're unconscious, not so much, right? So consciousness is just having awareness. Obviously you could go deeper with that, but just plain and simple, consciousness is awareness. And we're always entering different states of consciousness. Normally, the world is really operating, especially where we live in the United States, very much operating in a beta consciousness. So what that is your brain waves in this state of consciousness is what I said before. It's past, it's future, it's linear, it's logical, it's next steps, it's instructions, it's math, all amazing, wonderful things that us as humans are able to comprehend and to understand. But what we're exercising this state of consciousness so much, so rapidly, pretty much always on in this beta consciousness, and we are neglecting the other amazing states of consciousness we can tap into, like the alpha, which is the right side of your brain. It's the play, it's the creativity, it's that grace, it's that flow, it's that child. Like, imagination is so amazing. When we're children, we're always playing, we're always pretending, and as we grow up, we lose that a little bit. So tapping back into that is amazing. And then meditation helps you to do that. If you're doing visualizations and you're imagining, you're tapping into that alpha. And then if you go deeper, you tap into the theta. And now that is like where, like, me and you love to jam, because the theta is the subconscious mind. And once you get into your subconscious mind, you can change your beliefs, you can change the way that you have this outlook on life. And how that translates out into the world is when you're conscious in your waking state, because you were meditating, you played with that subconscious, you kind of change some beliefs around. When you're conscious, you start to see the clues, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between your imagination and what's real. So then when you leave the meditation and you're just out and about, you start to see the breadcrumbs of what you've just imagined your life to be. So you start to notice, like, I think I should talk to that person, or I think I should talk to the event planner because I have this dream of speaking to people. And you start to follow the trails because your mind is now giving you the clues that you've already primed it to. So that's kind of the science and why meditation is so awesome. And I hope that gives people context. These are like the scientific words, but I think what's important too is we all know this inherently. And now I'm just giving you the words for it. But I think everyone knows when they're in that intuition, or when they're in that play, or when they're in the doing. Like, we all know what that is because we've always tapped into all of those different states.
That's so amazing. And so what would you say to somebody that is just starting out with meditation? How many minutes would you start with? Where would you go? I mean, you and I go deep into meditation, like hours, right? And so, but how, for our viewers that are just starting out, what is a great, ritual for meditating? Because so many people don't know even how to get started. So let's start with that.
So I would say best time to meditate is truly first thing as you wake up. That is just the prime time because you just left, the sleeping state, and you're right at that cusp. You're right there. It's so easy to enter that subconscious mind level and start to play with that. So I would say, and also it's just so great because it's the beginning of your day. You're starting your day. You can kind of unfold the day in your meditation, and before you leave your house, you've already won. Like you've already conquered something most people haven't, and that's your focus. And there's something that comes with people that are meditators that people recognize it. Like, I don't know, something about her, something about him. And it's because they know how to focus and they have this inner peace within them. So anything that comes at them, they can kind of redirect it. So I think first thing in the morning, and I would say as far as timing, the sweet spot I would say is like 20 minutes. That is beautiful. And I know that could be intimidating for people starting off. So I'll be easy, just like 10 minutes. Start to just get your feet wet. And I think as you start to develop it as a habit and a practice, you'll see how those minutes go by so quickly, and you're going to want to even make it longer because you're just going to be having such a great, wonderful experience. So starting out, do 10 minutes. There's so many great apps out there now, but do it definitely in the morning. Start with 10 and really get yourself up to at least 20 minutes as you continue to make it a practice.
So how has meditation changed your life? For me, I'm a completely different person since meditation. So just, I know now people are really tapping into meditation. They're tapping into the science of it. Athletes are doing it. They're teaching meditation on a higher level. They're teaching it in the corporations, primarily because it allows you to get through life in a different state of being, right? And let's talk about that because how your life has transformed since you've had this practice, and maybe even talk about when, you and our viewers don't know, and we did a live on this about a year ago, but when you came out to California and we went kayaking and we flipped out of the kayak in the middle of the ocean. And both of us, because of our meditation practices, we stayed calm. We were in the middle of the ocean, guys, like literally in the middle of the ocean, capsized underneath a kayak. We could have died, literally could have died. And
it was scary.
It was really probably like one of the most fearful things that we've had. And because of our practice, we remained calm and we lifted the boat, both of us, off of us, and we got back in the boat. So that's just one example of like 1,000 that is how it's changed my life. And, my viewers know that used to have anxiety my entire life, and I was on medication, and now I'm not on medication. I've been on medication for years. I'm completely clean with everything, and I meditate, I eat clean, and living consciously is your mind, body, soul, and spirit. And you are amazing with that. So tell me a little bit about like how it's transformed your life, because I'm a different person for sure.
Yeah, 110%. And that story of us, like near-death experience, is just like now we can laugh about it because it's also one of the first times we even met and we had like a near-death experience.
That's true. I was like, hi, nice to meet you. Oh, we're going to die today.
But it's true. Like for some reason, me and you just time kind of stood still for us, and we just knew what to do. And although our adrenaline was definitely going through us, we were so just like smooth about it. And I definitely, same as you do, credit that to our meditation practice. And as far as like how it's helped me, I think being on this journey of consciousness and awakening and spirituality and personal development, it's often lonely. And it's often, I know for a while, I was like, wow, like where are the others? And now it's like wonderful because they're everywhere. And so many people are on this wavelength, which is amazing. But I do know that it is a struggle sometimes because you may not be understood always. You may be on a journey that's new. You might be the first one in your family or group of friends that, is starting to do these new practices. And I think having the meditation and tapping into this knowingness that you're on the right path and that you have this, God within you, it is so strong. And I know for me, it helped me tremendously to not feel like I was alone, to know that I was on the right path. And it also helped me to find the other people that were on this path. So I think it was like a companion for me, as silly as that sounds, like the silence and everything. It just really allowed me to know that, you know what, Monica, you're not alone. You're on the right path. It all is going to make sense, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And so it's really tapping into your higher self, right? And that's what I say all the time. It is. It's connecting you to the higher version of you. And you and I have been doing this forever, and we still always have a higher version of us, right? And so we're constantly seeking a better version of us, because that's why we're here. We're here to expand, right? And let's talk about that. I mean, like attracts like, and so it is on your spiritual journey. It is super hard sometimes, because you get rocked big time. You get tested, you get rocked. It is lonely. You lose people that think you're in a spot that you were 10 years ago, and you're not even there anymore. And so, but then the universe does bring the people. I mean, you and I are like sisters, right? And we barely met one day, and we were like, oh, instant. Like, it was instant. And the universe brings people together. So let's talk about that, and let's talk about like vibrations and high consciousness, because I think that you and I are pretty good with surrounding ourselves with only high conscious people, right? And I think that now we choose consciously not to be in a low vibration. We choose consciously not to have toxicity in our life, and when it's there, we recognize it and we correct it, right? So let's talk about that, because I think that's a huge thing for so many people don't understand, is that when they're living in toxicity, that's what's they're gonna emanate out, and they're gonna bring that back into their world. So meditation changes your life, eating healthy changes your life, exercise changes your life, just living consciously, living in an aware state changes your life. But you surround yourself with beautiful conscious people like yourself, and you get beautiful conscious experiences, right? I mean, we did almost die that day, but it was probably one of the best trips I could remember of last year, right? That I had, that those 3 days with you were like magical, and we had a near death
And
experience.
we extended it too. We're like, no, I was like, we were in San Diego, and I was like, no, come to LA with me now. Like, come on, I'm not letting you go.
We really were. It was like, no, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. But my point is that we, the law of polarity is always going to be there. We had this crazy tragic event, and then we had these beautiful magical moments too. Yeah. But we invited each other into our lives with the consciousness that we were living, and we were living in these high vibes. So talk about that, because everyone says all the time, oh, good vibes only, and that's like, but in reality, it's the truth, right? You want to surround yourself with good vibrations, because that's what you're going to attract into your life. So
100%. Yeah. And I think it's so important to that point is, yes, like, surround yourself with the positive environments, the people that are going to uplift you, empower you, and also recognize and take responsibility for the energy that you're bringing, because we are so powerful. And, you can walk into a room and change the frequency of the room. It's true. Like, we are all so powerful and so capable of that. And we again, like, we see it all the time where, if you walk into, let's say, your coworker's office, and they having a rough time, and they just kind of vent to you and like, oh, I feel great. And you're like, oh, I don't feel so good anymore. And it's because this, they brought you into their energy, and the energy field, it's transferable. Like you said, we're all energy. We all, energy doesn't die. It just transfers. So taking responsibility of not only like what places you're putting yourself into, but also knowing that you're so powerful that you can change the environment as well. You can smile, you can bring the light, you can make someone laugh, or you could just, just be conscious and aware that you are also contributing. So I think it's important to definitely be mindful of your surroundings. And then 2, the surroundings sometimes are out of our control. Like, there might be places that trigger you, but you still got to go to them, or there are people or whatever it is, but recognizing that, you know what, I'm going to change, and it does ripple out. It will ripple out, and it will affect the other people that might be, of a lower vibration. So I think that's important too. Like, just keep doing what serves you best. And I think if everyone does that, if everyone just shows up as their best selves, it stays in their light, and is really, just being the best version that they could be right now, the world would be amazing, because we just have one responsibility. It's us. If everyone did that, wow, this world would heal so quickly. So, yeah. And there's so many avenues we could go with the whole like energy and everything. So.
Well, I know that you truly do live in love, right? And so, I mean, both of us really do live in love. And everyone laughs all the time, and they're like, oh my God, Noelle, you're a unicorn. And in reality, I mean, there's times where I'm not a unicorn at all, right? And you're the same way. You are so joyful, and you live in joy, and you live in love. But I think that because of what we do, I think we have, life comes at us, and there are times where we're anxious. There's times where, life is life. And that's what I want to tell the viewers, is that it's not always bubbles and unicorns and candies and it really, there's times that life just happens, but it's how you handle it, and it's how you, and it's easier to get through because you are living consciously, right? And so it's never going to take away from the fact that we're human, but it is going to take, it is going to allow the softness of it to, and the time gets also a lot shorter, that, we don't live in that vibration, because
we don't stay in the misery, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. We're here to experience it all. Me and you, we're still human. It's a human experience. We have highs and joys and loves and rainbows, and we also can feel sad and get into a funk or feel anxious, whatever it is. We're here. We don't get to skip those parts, and that's part of the work. And I also think it's definitely important for us, as leaders, to really voice that, because it is important for people to know, this is life. And to your point, is we just don't stay there as much. And we also, correct me if I'm wrong, Noelle, I definitely feel like you probably do this. We ask the questions of okay, let's say for me, sadness comes up. I ask the question of what are you here for? Because there's always a lesson. And if we shove it, we try to ignore it, we try to push it away, it's just going to keep bubbling up until we give it a voice and we say, why are you here? What is your intention? And usually it is such a beautiful intention, or it's just trying to teach you something. And if you actually create a dialogue with your emotions, wow, life gets so much richer, and you can accept it a little bit easier, and you can be like, okay, I'm sad because the truth of reality is I miss you, or whatever it is. And usually all the emotions are just really gifts of us, one, just probably keeping us safe, or two, just recognizing that, there's different parts of us. And I think giving emotions a voice, feeling them, not ignoring them, and then you can move through them so much gracefully and then get back into a higher vibration a lot faster.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much, because I truly teach that, and I truly live that. I probably, if somebody was inside of my head, they would think I'm a lunatic, because I'm always like, okay, so, and I talk to myself and my highest self and my consciousness all day, every day. And I'm like, okay, why are you here? Tell me what, I was in the hospital right before Christmas. I think that, and my viewers know that as well. But it was there to teach me that I wasn't living authentically, right? And so emotions are pain, emotions, anything that happens to us in our life are really for only two reasons: to experience and to learn. And that's it. And to expand even beyond that. And so when we live life from that place, we really understand emotions are here to teach us. Emotions are here for us to experience and to expand, not to hurt us. They're not, life isn't happening and to us, it is happening with us. And when we dance with the universe, it is so beautiful. And I say that all the time, and I probably have said that in every single episode, really, because it's so true that we're not victims. We get to choose, and we get intention, and we get choice. But the things that are showing up in our lives are showing up with lesson after lesson, different people, different circumstance, same lesson, but we're not learning it, right? Because we're not listening. And so it is our highest self saying, hey, Monica, go this way. No, go this way. No, you're not listening. Okay, you're not listening. Okay, here you go. I'm going to pull this out from underneath you. And so it really, when big things happen in our life, it's because change is needed, and no one is listening to that. And so many people, let's talk about that, because I think that's a really big one. Fear of change. What do you feel with that? And moving in and living consciously, and how you live consciously and adapt to change.
Yeah, I think change is uncomfortable. That is what change is. It's a new state. It's growing out of that shell. But I think life is always moving. Life is always changing. And if you're not changing, then you're not living, right? You're dying, essentially. You have to change. You have to evolve. It's just, the seed, the acorn seed becomes the tree, becomes the roots, becomes the leaves, and falls and starts again. It's constantly evolving. Life loves to evolve, loves to change. So that's point one, is that it's always going to happen. And the other thing is that, change is just really an opportunity. And I think sometimes we overestimate how tough it is. Like we think in our head like, oh, that phone call, I don't want to make that phone call. I don't want to, break this news to this person. Or, oh, I have to like whatever it is. And then, when you do it and you're like, that wasn't so bad. I think
Yeah, exactly.
we make it so like, I don't know if I can do this. But by the time you just do it, because all the energy you're expelling and the worry behind it, by the time you do it, you're like, wow, that really wasn't so bad. So I think, worry is just like robbing you of your faith. Choose faith. Choose that it's going to be okay. Choose that you're, by making the new choices and the new changes, that it's going to evolve into a greater version of you and affect the people around you too. So I think, drop the worries and the doubts, because chances are it's not as hard and it's not as bad as we're making it out to be.
And everything really in the quantum field on a higher level is everything just is, right? And so we create stories behind whatever is going on, right? So nothing is good, bad, or indifferent. It really, truly just is. And we create all these stories. We create all these limiting beliefs. Let's talk a little bit about limiting beliefs behind things, because you're a mind hacker and you're an NLP master just like me. And we go into people's minds and people are like, wait, what's mind hacking? What are you doing with my mind? But, it's really just to the story that you have. It's the story you created. It's not real. It's just, everyone's like, what do you mean it's not real? Of course it's happening to me, right? But if you change your story, you change your reality. And it's not that your thoughts become reality. It's your beliefs emanate out into the world, turns into a vibration, and you match that vibration, then that becomes a reality on a higher level. But so let's talk about, on the basic of the quantum field is the limiting beliefs and moving through that. What do you think your thoughts are? And we teach mind hacking, right? We go in with everything that we do. We truly teach life hacking. I mean, it's even bigger than mind hacking, because we hack people's lives, right?
Yeah,
we go in and we're like, okay, this isn't working, but we're going to do this, and this, and this is going to work. So tell us a little bit about that and like with you, what you do with some of your clients while you're coaching them.
Yeah, I think everything you said, I echo it. And I think there's always an intention behind it. So, your limiting belief or the beliefs that you have that are holding you back, like there's always a rational reason behind that story. And you can find that. And usually it's usually right. Like it's to keep us safe, or it's fearful of like, I'm not enough or whatever it is. And we've grown that evidence. So like the stories are so real. To your point, you're like, what do you mean it's not happening? It's like really happening, because we found all the evidence. We've backed it up. We've seen it over and over again. And it's just a pattern, it's like, if you're in your room right now and you say like, find everything that's red, you will find everything that's red. And it's the same with our stories. You've told yourself over and over again, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. You're going to find evidence, because you're going to want to prove yourself right. So I think our limiting stories are so powerful because we've given them so much power. Mm-hmm. So when we reanalyze it, we really look at it and we say, okay, this, and I also, I always tell people, I'm like, the reason it doesn't feel good is because it's a lie. Like you are lying to yourself, and the truth is most likely the opposite. It's not that you're not good enough. It's that you're so freaking great and you're so afraid of your greatness. Like if you were to show up in all of your greatness, that's what you're scared of, because you're just nervous of like, well, am I going to lose my friendships, or am I going to lose, the comfortability of where I'm at? But it's just like, wow, like you're so powerful. And to, obviously we're just talking right now, but when we do our work that we do and we get in there and you change the story, you start to see that you're so powerful that you made yourself believe a lie. Imagine how powerful you are if you were to start to believe the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how powerful we really are. And our brain is so powerful that our brain, and let's talk about ego, because that's what our brain is, right? Our brain is when we are living in our head, when we're living in our brain, we're living from an ego. But the science behind that is that if you see something that is red, and then you decide that you want a red car, and then you decide that you want to wear a red sweater, it's because it's inside your brain, is literally it's all programmed inside your brain to see that, right? And so when you change that, when you change from fear to faith, or when you change from anger to happiness, or when you're going to start to see that same thing, because your brain is programmed, literally, like you said, to do that, right? And so let's talk about the ego, because this is a big one, because so many people don't understand really what the ego is. And our ego is really, I mean, the best way I describe it is it's our inner child wanting to have a voice. And when you do not have a voice, right, what happens to a 2-year-old when they don't have a voice? They're throwing a tantrum on the floor, right? And so many times you're like, no, but I believe that I'm a multimillionaire, and but it's not happening. I don't understand. It's because you haven't healed your inner child, right? And so your inner child is really saying to you, hey, Noelle, you need to go back to when you were 6 years old. Remember that day when somebody hurt you when you were 6 years old and told you you weren't worthy or something like that? And so let's talk about the ego from that perspective, because I think that it's really such a big thing that so many people don't understand, that they have a choice. They don't feel like they have a choice because of, you know, what's coming into their life. But so many people don't feel like they can change their story. So many people don't feel that because they are stuck in their left brain, which is their ego. And you know, it just, when you give your right and your left brain both equal parts, and you know, and it's working simultaneously to manifest, that's when you manifest, not when you're trying to will something to happen or you're angry or something. First, find the emotions behind it, but then 2, go find and see if there's something you have to heal behind what's going on. I always ask why, or I always ask, what was the first time that this happened to me? And then I go back to that. Let's talk about that and the ego for you, because I know you're a master with that. So
yeah, I think you nailed it on the head too. It's just like the alignment, right? Like align your head with your heart, because to your point of like, if you're all ego, you're trying to will it, you're trying to force and push, and it's not going to work. And if you're the other side, then it's just like, you're just ethereal and you just think it's going to fall in your lap. Like you need both. And I think, you know, we all needed to get away from like, this side's good, this side's bad. To your point, like it just is. And we need to start leveling out the playing field of both of them, and not try to, you know, this muscle is so much stronger than this one. Like, let's just even this out, because we need our rational mind. We need our ego, because our ego is here to protect us. It's the reason why you cross the street and you didn't see the car zooming by and you immediately pull back. Like, you know, your mind, your ego is there to protect you. But we can't let it protect us from the things that we're here to do, right? Because it's scared of everything. Your ego is scared of everything. And at the same time, like, we can't just be, you know, totally playful and be childlike, but don't be childish, right? So it's like really playing out these two sides of us. And when it comes to ego and the healing of it, it is so important. It is so important when you heal these different parts of you, you know, there's just so much glory from that. And that's like the work that we do. And that's the work that so many people need to do, because, you know, we think that things happen to us and that's the story and that's what happened to me. But we could totally rearrange it, see like why I was there, heal it, and get a whole new lesson from it. Because those, like we were saying earlier, like those lessons were so here for you. Like unfortunately or fortunately, like those things happen to you, and it's like your greatest gift. You know, for me, one of my greatest gifts was forgiveness. I had to forgive someone I was holding a grudge towards for almost 10 years, you know? And like, what did that do to that person? Like nothing. They have no idea like that I'm holding this grudge or anything. Like, it's just poisoning myself. And when I finally was able to release that and truly forgive this person, like truly forgive them. If I saw them on the street, I would hug them. Whereas in the past, I would have like ran away. You know, my whole body started shaking because it was so internal. I had to really ground myself, and it freed me. It really freed me. So we all have these little things that are within us. And once we kind of break through them, it opens you up, and it opens you up to all of the things that are blocking right now because of the work you haven't done yet, right? Those are the blocks. When you open them up, it flows. You get more idea, you get the better relationship, you get the money, you get the callback, you get these things because you've healed, you know, and now you can accept the rewards that are meant for you.
Oh my gosh, that is so perfect. And so, because what I say all the time is radical forgiveness, right? And so radical forgiveness is not even just forgiving the person, but forgiving the circumstance for happening in your life, and then forgiving yourself for allowing it to happen, right? And which is so deep, but it is one of the highest and fastest forms of healing is forgiveness. Because when your body was shaking because you stored it in your body for so many years, right?
Long. Yeah.
So, and how did your life change dramatically after that? Because that's a huge thing, is that when you forgive somebody, did you see the instant changes in your life? Was it, I mean, I feel like even in this last year and a half, you're like this different transformed person, and you stepped 100% in your truth, and you always beautiful and light and joy. I just think that you're like powerful and magnificent, more than you've ever been in your life. Right. And so has the healing transformed your life, and the work, this work, or any work that you've done on yourself, transformed your life?
100%. Like with this work especially, but beyond that is like my relationships, because the person I had to forgive was one of my closest friends that we just ended our friendship so abruptly. And I was blocking myself from having other meaningful, deep relationships, even romantic relationships. I was blocking myself from that for so long because I couldn't trust people. I felt so betrayed, and it was because of this one person. But the truth of the matter was, like, she did the best friendship she could have done. Like, I did the best friendship I could have done. And I'm so thankful for her, because she was a huge part of my childhood, and I have so many amazing memories with her. And I've since forgiving her, like I've found my soulmate, honestly. Like, I found my soulmate. So it's just like, had I not done that, I would have still been blocked. I still would have had this wall around my heart. And now that I've dropped the wall, I'm just like, here I am, this is me, and lived in like my truth, had that self-love, and then, took the steps and eventually found the person, that my partner that I'm with now. So tremendously helped me.
I love that. That's amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful. Let's talk about relationships. And I think that that's a perfect, like, last subject is relationships, because relationships are mirrors, right? So people are showing up in your life only to teach you where you are vibrating in your life, right? So if you don't like the people, or you don't like the circumstances that are in your life, it's because you have to look within and say, this is what I have to heal, right? And if you are with your soulmate, and you're dancing with the universe like you are, that's a beautiful place to be. But some people have to get there, and the relationships that they're not they're not in the relationship that they want to be in, or they're not surrounding themselves with conscious people, or things like that. And the best thing I can say about relationships is really it's just showing you exactly who you are and where you are in your life, right? And so if you don't like something that is in any relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a parent, whether it is a soulmate, if something is going on with someone in your life, and it really destroys you or irritates you, or anything, any negative emotion, it's there to show you, to teach you, because the best way we can learn is through other humans. And so the other humans that come into our life, even if it's Bob down the street and he is nasty to you and that triggers you, you have to figure out why that triggers you, right?
Right. Yep.
So let's talk about how to have beautiful, healthy relationships, because I think that is, conscious relationships. I think that so many people go into love and they're like, I love being in love, but they come from a place of need, right? It's, I need you to make me happy. I need money to make me happy. Even your relationship with money is a relationship, and that's, it really is. Everything in your life is a relationship with you. So let's talk about like external forces versus internal forces, because that to me is something that I live by, is there's nothing happening externally to you that's not going on internally.
Yes. Inner and outer, as above, so below. Let's go. Yeah. And I think, having a conscious relationship, to speak to that, with my romantic partner, it's takes those conversations. It takes like, okay, what is it that you're working on? What are your goals? How can I help you? And also, what are the things that have troubled you in your past or triggered you? And I think having those conversations are so important, because we don't know how to love one another. Like the way that I love, or the way that I receive love, is just Monica's own personalized way. We're all so unique. So having those conversations, and also consciousness also means, to your point, is just like, it is not his responsibility to make me happy. Like, it is just not his responsibility. It's my responsibility to make me happy. But the best part is that he knows me, and he knows when I'm not doing that for myself, and he can help check me, and he'd be like, well, you said you're going to do this, or whatever it is. Like, you haven't gone to yoga in like weeks. Like, what's up? Like, he's there to also just encourage me to find it for myself. And when you are in a conscious relationship, it really just takes like, it's like this a whole nother life to a whole nother level. Because it really, we honor both each other. I think he says, like, the moment he knew, like how much we were really a match was like one day we were just kind of like planning and talking about our future, and we were talking about like our next steps, and I think he had said something along the lines of like, well, I could do this for the meantime, and I stopped him dead in his track, and I said, no, like you are a music producer, I'm a meditation teacher, like there's no other thing. And because it just it was like, no, like this is it, you know, and spoke it out for him as well. Like you're both just helping each other manifest your dreams together. So I think it's really important to know that step 1, 2, you taught me this, is like self-love. Like you have to have the self-love before you can find, you know, another person to love. So I think that's really important.
It's 100%, 100%. I mean, self-love is the biggest component of any relationship, right? I think that you have to, and you said two things, honor and respect. So if you're not honoring and respecting you, how are you going to expect anybody in your life to honor and respect you, right? And that is, you know, not even just an intimate relationship, but you and I have honor and respect for each other, right? And every person in my life, I honor and I respect. And when I don't honor and respect them, the universe shows me, because I'm not honoring and respecting myself as well, right? And so when we realize on the highest level that we are all connected and we are all one, and I know that sounds really woo-woo, but you know, really in the quantum fields, it's science proves that we are all one. And so you know, so
you gotta get over this woo-woo thing. It's
exactly, it's proven. But really, and the hardest thing I think is self-love. And I think the hardest thing is to look internally and say, I love you. You are a rock star. You own this, like own this. You know, why are you not great? Why are you not living your best life? Why are you not stepping into your truth? Like you just said with Justin, like, no, I'm a meditation teacher, and there's no in between. There's no in between. You're a music producer, I'm a meditation teacher, and that's where we're going, and that's what we're doing. And so when you have self-love, you do that with yourself as well, right? And so you couldn't get to a point of soulmate relationship until you loved you and honored you and healed other relationships in your life. And me too, not just you. I'm saying me too, and everybody. And I think that is really just such a beautiful place. Let's end on that. Is you know, self-love is do one thing every single day for you, every single day, because I promise you guys that you are the most important person in your life. And I know that sounds crazy because there's so many other people in your life, but you are not giving love to people on the highest level if you're not loving yourself on the highest level. So with that, Monica, thank you so much for being here. I love you with all my heart. Tell us how people can get in touch with you, and tell us how just what you're up to. I know you're doing coaching, and you're doing the Radiance Festival, which I definitely want to come to this year.
I'd love to have you there.
Yeah. And so tell us all about you and what's going on with you.
Sure. So thank you. I could talk to you all day for hours. So thank you so much for inviting me onto your show. I love you so much. People can follow me. Instagram is amazing. I'm usually on there, and I love to answer people. So if people have questions, want to follow up, my handle is @It's Monica Adams. So ITSMONICAADAMS. It's Monica Adams. And what I'm up to. So Radiance Festival, like I mentioned earlier, is Conscious Music Festival. We have all wellness vendors. We have fun. We dance. We play. We enjoy each other's company. So that's happening June 9th. So I would love to invite everybody to come and enjoy. It's one day, super fun, in nature. And also I'm accepting more coaching clients. So you guys can come, you know, Instagram is the best way. I have all my links there, but also my website is itsmonicaadams.com. So you can find my coaching programs there. I'm starting to opening up one-on-ones where we can really go deep and really everything we talked about today, like really do some deep healing, find those wounds, find those blocks, and totally remove them, because it's 100% possible. So I'm here for everybody. I'm here to empower everybody. So if you guys are interested, please contact me and get in touch. I'd love to chat more.
So, and those of you that are watching, Monica she is probably the most pure light person I've ever met in my life. She really, so if you're interested in learning meditation, if you're interested in learning NLP, or you're in the New York area, do you do FaceTime?
So yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Wherever you are in the country or the world, really.
Technology is amazing, right? My whole business is now online. But
yeah,
so those of you watching, she is amazing and beautiful, and follow her if nothing else, because she will give you amazing tips every single day. Today, I want you to own you. I want you to step into your power and know that you are loved, know that you are powerful, and know that you are a gift to this planet. And one thing that I want to say to you is if you are not living in your highest self, you're doing a disservice to you, everyone that you love, and the universe. So live as your highest version of yourself. Make a conscious choice. You guys are amazing and beautiful, and I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.